Now, I brought a number of different hollowing tools that I use just to talk about them a bit. This is a Sorby hollowing tool. The tip is actually part of the shaft. And to sharpen it, if you sharpen this on a grinder, it's going to be gone before very long. So to sharpen it, I use a diamond card and just come down across the bevel like this. And that puts a micro burr on the tip that will cut. It won't cut for terribly long, but it will cut. And it's a nice little tool to handle. Second thing about this type of tool is if you're going to put it in there, you want the straight part of the shaft on the tool rest. If you put it on here like this and it grabs, it's going to pull it down and it's going to swing it around and come out of your hand or create a catch. So I want the straight part on the tool rest, and then I just put it in and come around to the edge. And this tool is quite thin, and it's not good to go in any more than about 4 or 5 inches because it hasn't got a whole lot of strength to it, and it starts to vibrate, and you can hear it. But it is a nice tool for the edge. The second tool I'll talk about is a carbide tool. This is a Penn State. There's a set of them that you get Penn State. You get 3 for about $70, and they have carbide tips on them. They're pretty straightforward carbide tips. The carbide tips cost about $7 each. But you get this tool, which is pretty much worthless unless you're doing something really with a really heavy, sharp shoulder. This tool, which is a lot like the Sorby tool. And then the straight tool, which you do most of your work with anyhow. And I've put a Hunter carbide tip on this, which actually has a cutting edge more than a scraping edge.
Hey, Walt, what wall thickness are you shooting for?
Go ahead.
What wall thickness are you shooting for?
About 3/16 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch.
Oh, okay, right on.
Let's see, 2/16 is 1/8, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
When I woke up this morning, it was.
Sometimes, actually, I don't think about it a whole lot. I just go in there, and sometimes it'll be thicker, sometimes it'll be thinner, but I try to get an even wall thickness, and I'll talk about that in a minute when I get down to that point. So I'm going to go to this little rounded carbide thing. Same difference with the tool rest. It has the straight part of the shank wants to be on the tool rest. You don't want it flipping down like that. And it's nice to check periodically because your hands and your fingers are a lot better at seeing things than your eyes, especially when you're hollowing. You can't really see inside what's going on, but you can feel with your fingers where it's getting thinner or there's a ledge or something like that. The third tool I'll talk about for hollowing. This is a John Jordan hollowing tool. It has a removable high-speed steel point on it, but you can take out and sharpen on the grinder. So you can put more of an edge on it than you can with a card. But still, even so, I'll generally just go over the edge with a card. And this tool has a little more weight to it, so you can go a little deeper. Same thing, straight part on the shaft on the tool rest, but I can shorten the tool rest up some because I'm in here deeper.
Hey, Walt, are you using hunters on all the carbides there?
No, this one I got I got this at the SWAT meeting just to try it out. It is
Just on the straight bar. Okay.
It's just on the straight tool. I haven't even used it yet in here, but it cuts
Well, I
nicely.
thought
Let's see in a minute.
There was a
I'm just
question.
going to finish, try to
Yeah,
do
there was
this
just a
one.
question about it.
And sometimes, I know some people think watching hollowing is like watching paint dry, but it takes time. You can't just take everything all out at once. You've got to work at it sequentially. And sometimes I just run the tool down there like that and feel where those bumps are and where the edges are so that I know where to start, like right there. Now for small pieces like this, you don't need a visualizer or a hollowing jig. The tools are pretty easy to control. When you get something larger than the hollowing jigs and the visualizers and those laser thickness gauges are pretty nice. My gauge for this is a simple piece of bent wire. It's let's see if I can, looks like that. The gap is about a ½ inch. So if I put it in there like that and it's touching, I know that I'm not down to my 3/8 or 3/16 yet, but I can see that I'm pretty even down to about here. And then I hit a thicker part. So I'm going to go back in and get that. I'm going to use the straight tool. The advantage of the straight tool, if you can reach where you're going to cut, is that you can get the tool rest up as close as you want to. You don't have to worry about being on the long part of the shank on a curved tool, and you can kind of feel where the edges are. The Hunter carbide bit, in my opinion, is a little more grabby than the scraper bit because you've got a concave part here, and as you're coming in and you're cutting against, especially across the end grain, it's going to tend to grab it a bit more.
There's a can